In this video, I'm going to give you all you need to know about Mohamed Kudus' Afcon involvement and when we can expect him back at West Ham United. Welcome back to West Ham Official. I hope you are all well. Just a quick video this morning to discuss Mohamed Kudus, a key player for West Ham. And of course, it's been on the minds of all West Ham fans of when we will get our star boy back in claret and blue, because as we've already seen, he is a big miss for the Hammers. So, Ghana kicked off their Afcon campaign last night against Cape Verde. Well, you'll all be glad to know that Mohamed Kudus was not in the squad. So if he'd have played last night, there'd been a maximum of 7 games that Kudus would have played in the space of a month. But he wasn't involved at all last night in their game against Cape Verde. So that's a positive, of course, for us. He was there. He was pictured at the grounds, but deemed not fit enough for whatever reason to be involved in the matchday squad. So that must have been a precaution taken by former Brighton manager and now Ghana manager Chris Houghton, that he's that he obviously wasn't fit enough to be involved due to his hamstring or jet lag or whatever the issue was. So now the situation that we find ourselves in with Mohamed Kudus is that he'll play a maximum of 6 games for Ghana in this Afcon campaign, an absolute maximum of 6. So 2 group stage games that are left, a last 16 game, a quarter final, a semi-final, and a final or a third place playoff. Of course, this is all dependent on the progress of Ghana. They could get knocked out in the group stages. He only plays a maximum of 2 games now, and we get him back by the start of February. That's the best case scenario for West Ham, of course, with us wanting to have our best player back in the squad as soon as possible. The worst case scenario is we can see Mohamed Kudus back with West Ham and possibly in contention to return to the team on the 17th of February in our away game to Nottingham Forest. That is in just over a month's time. So there will be, there's quite a big sort of, area of doubt of not knowing when he'll return. It's just sort of will happen, and whatever happens. So that it's not a massively strenuous fixture schedule. They'll play a maximum now of 6 games inside 30 days. So that's it's quite a lot of games, but it's tournament football. What do you expect? It's not crazy levels of football. So hopefully, if A, he can stay fit, B, he can be fit when he returns to West Ham, and C, he can be back at West Ham as soon as possible. That's what we would all love to see. So if Ghana progress all the way through, it's the 17th of February. If they don't, if they fall short early in the competition, the earliest we can expect him back is the 1st of February, which then could maybe, possibly, probably not have him in contention for our home game against Bournemouth, but possibly back in contention for our away game to Manchester United. That's if they get grouped and they're knocked out of the group stages of Afcon, which is highly unlikely. They're a decent outfit and they're being tipped currently to go quite a way in the competition. So what I'm saying, basically, the information I'm providing is that we could see Kudus back around the West Ham squad in East London from any time between the start of February to the 17th of February. The final is held on the 11th of February, so if they do get to the final, then of course if they win it, there'll be some celebrations, and our next game after that, as already mentioned, is Nottingham Forest away on the 17th of February. Listen, he's chosen his country, and to be fair, it's a dream for these players. And there's been a little bit of controversy about how early he went. Could he have played in the game a couple of weeks ago against Brighton? Because even Onana for Manchester United still hasn't gone yet. He played last night for Manchester United before going out and meeting up with his country for Afcon. And look, there was some controversy about that. He's picked up a slight hamstring injury in that time as well, which prevented him from being involved in their friendly and now their first group stage game of Afcon. So if that's resolved, then he'll play a maximum of 6, but it could be as little as 2 games as the best case scenario for West Ham, of course, because we desperately want our star boy, our best player, back involved for West Ham United. But if I was a betting man, which of course I'm not, I'd expect Ghana to go quite far in the competition. So let's not hold our hopes out too high for him to be back in a couple of weeks. I think we should all set ourselves up and expect the worst case scenario from a club perspective of him being back in just over a month's time. We've got to adapt as a football club. We've got to see how we can, get around this issue, because of course, at the moment we are without Bowen and Lucas Paqueta as well. So our whole front three, they've relished so far this season, those three together. And of course, with a couple of injuries to Bowen and Paqueta and the Afcon involvement for Mohamed Kudus, it's left the club from a West Ham perspective in quite a difficult situation where we've got cup game against Bristol City and you know, luckily we haven't got too many Premier League games. You know, the maximum amount of games that Kudus is going to miss actually doesn't rack up to that many. So if we can just sort of take our next few games and the next few results just with a pinch of salt, and then when we return with Kudus, hopefully with Paqueta and Jarrod Bowen, we can hopefully see normal service resumed. He's going to miss the Bristol City Cup game tomorrow. He's going to miss Sheffield United away, probably Bournemouth away, and then Man United away, Arsenal at home, and then probably back for Nottingham Forest. So he'll miss a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4 games, 1 cup game, 3 Premier League games. So look, worst comes to worst, 3 or 4 Premier League games now we're going to have to work around and suffer without Mohamed Kudus. So it's not the end of the world. It's not a huge amount of time. It's just hoping out and, you know, praying that there isn't an injury that Mohamed Kudus picks up that puts him out for a further prolonged amount of time, because that would be an absolute nightmare for David Moyes' side. So look, what we've got to hope for is that from our perspective, Ghana don't do too well, but I think they'll do quite well. They've got a decent manager. It's a decent setup from my understanding, and just hope he doesn't get injured, and let's just get all these players back in that side and scoring goals and assisting each other like they have been superbly. And, you know, the only reason I'm making this video is because of how good Mohamed Kudus has been, how crucial and instrumental he's been to our success so far this season. We find ourselves 6th in the league, and that's a huge proportion of that is down to the signing of Mohamed Kudus, who has just been absolutely brilliant. We've signed him for 40 million from Ajax, which looks like an absolute steal now. There's talks of 80, 90, 100 million. If he keeps going like this, him and Bowen and Paqueta are forming a lethal partnership. And if they can be all back together by worst case the end of February, the start of March, we can end the season with all 3 of them fit and firing. Then hopefully we can maintain our current league position, maybe go on a couple of cup runs that we're left in, and end the season on a high. So the next month we will take a little bit of a drop in form. That's my expectation. You know, as I said, I'm expecting that. And of course, with the players we've got out, that, you know, that's normal. That's the norm. When you miss 3 of your best players, the team will evidently get worse, and that's what's going to happen. We're going to have to accept that and hopefully find a solution to counteract that, and still just pick up wins and try and form some confident performances with a group of players that currently are just so low on confidence. Fornals, Ben Rama, Ings, all these players, Cornet have got to step up now. Step up to the plate and show David Moyes their worth. So look, just to reiterate, Mohamed Kudus is going to be out, worst case, for the 17th of February with Ghana at Afcon. But we could see him back maybe at the start of February if we're lucky from a West Ham point of view. Thanks for watching this explainer video. If you've enjoyed it, drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you are new. That's it from me. Come on, you Irons. You know, we wish Kudus success in a way. Hopefully he plays well, but I also hope him and I'm wanting him to be back in a West Ham shirt as soon as possible. For that to happen, we need Ghana to be knocked out of the competition. So if there's any Ghanaians watching, sorry, but I want Kudus back because he's a very good player. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.